A very good day to Dr. Kwa and everyone. Today we are here for CIB 1001 Management course. Today we'll be presenting Chapter 6 Planning and Goal Setting. So we are from Tutorial 4 and Group 1. So before I start, let me introduce myself and my group members. I'm Arvindraj Analaki Murgesan and my group members are Anit Zulaika binti Zulkefli, Divya Sri Ana Perempuan Patmanaban, Darwin Analaki Kumar, Alif Muhammin bin Muhammad Rosli, Yugurashwar Analaki Balamurili, and lastly, Nur Shadina binti Muhammad Maidin. Now, I'll pass the floor to Yugurashwar.
Hi everyone, my name is Yugurashwar and today I'll be answering for discussion question 1, which is why are formal plans generated? Formal plans are generated to set standards to facilitate control and provide a direction for the organization. Formal planning usually encourages management to think ahead systematically and find a better financial results. Planning and performance are usually have a positive relationship and also depend on the quality of planning process. It is also helpful for the company to anticipate, respond quickly, and deal effectively according to the environmental changes and sudden development as well for an unforeseen circumstances. Okay, that's all for question number 1. Now I would like to pass to Ms. Shah for question number 2.
Thank you for the good explanation, Mr. Yuka. First, I would like to greet a very good morning to Dr. Kwa and everyone. My name is Nur Shadina binti Maidin and I'll be presenting discussion question number 2. Why is planning beneficial? Many people consider planning to be a chore and an inconvenient process. Planning, on the other hand, can be extremely beneficial to everyone. Planning offers us a clear picture of what needs to be done, what goals need to be met, and how much time needs to be spent on achieving those goals. First and foremost, planning aids in the achievement of goals. Every organization has a set of goals or objectives. Whether you call it a purpose or a goal, planning aids an organization in achieving its objectives. It does not matter what your objective or task is, you cannot achieve it without planning. The ultimate objective of a plan is its destination, so to create a goal and achieve it, you must plan. The act of planning itself provides a sense of direction. It directs your attention in the right way. It inspires a growing mindset in you. As a result, if you jump into an activity without a goal or a plan, you may not know when or where to stop. Next, planning helps to set your priorities right. It is important to establish one's priorities, and the best method to do so is to plan. Planning allows you to lay out all your cards, sort them, and deal with them in the order you want. Planning will help you figure out what is important to you and what you do not want. Your objectives will be clearer, and the path to achieving them will be clear. Planning also teaches you to say no, which can be difficult for people who do not have a plan. You will know what is important to you and what is not if you have a good plan in place. It is a lot easier to select less important items when you plan. Third, planning helps delegation. It doesn't matter how many goals you establish, you won't be able to achieve them on your own. Attempting to do everything on your own will result in incomplete work, unmet goals, and poor performance. Delegation comes into play here. Proper planning is essential not only to motivate us to reach our goals, but also to break them down into manageable chunks and tiny targets that make achieving them much more attainable. Not only that, but it also assists you in delegating each duty to the appropriate person. Delegation and work derivation boost productivity and ensure on-time delivery. When you plan off time before beginning a project, you will be able to make your routines more self-contained. Furthermore, planning allows you to understand and manage events. You need to plan if you want to feel in control when making decisions. Planning gives you the impression of being in command. While many factors are beyond human control, planning guarantees that you have control over the ones that are. Planning also provides you with information on the project, work, or even life. You will get a sneak peek into the unknown and you will have the opportunity to help shape it. You learn what works and what doesn't. Planning is linked to good time management because it encourages the planner to set aside a suitable amount of time for each activity before moving on to the next. These self-imposed deadlines are a good sort of incentive that natural procrastinators really need. Finally, planning increases efficiency. For example, you have probably seen that the most efficient people are those who plan ahead of time. Planning maximizes the use of all available resources. It aids in the reduction of resource waste and the avoidance of duplications. Its goal is to provide the best results for the least amount of money. As a result, overall efficiency improves. As a result, planning is essential for the effective and efficient operation of every organization, regardless of its size, type, or goals. Thus, the benefit of planning far outweighs the apparent disadvantage. That's all for question number 2. Now I'll pass the floor to Miss Anis.
Thank you, Ms. Shah. And now I will present discussion question number 3. Describe in detail the 6-step strategic management process. The strategic management process is a 6-step process that covers strategic planning, implementation, and evaluation. Identifying strategic position such as organization's mission, vision, objective, and strategies is the initial step of the strategic management process. It is the reason for the existence of an organization. It states that who we are and what we would like to become. It is developed by top-level management. Mission defines the fundamental unique purpose that is different from the other organization of a similar type. For example, the mission of eBay is to build an online marketplace that enables practically anyone to trade practically anything almost anywhere and everywhere in the world. This statement provides a clue to what this organization sees as its reason for being in business. Next, analyzing the external environment. Analyzing the environment is a critical step in the strategy process. The external environment refers to the forces and institutions outside the organization that affect the organization's performance. After we analyze the external environment, managers need to identify opportunities that can be capitalized and threats that an organization may face. Opportunities are the positive trends and scope for an organization to grow, and threats are the negative trends and challenges to the organization. The third step is analyzing the internal environment. Internal environment consists of all forces and conditions within the organization that affects business operation. Managers need to analyze the internal environment to understand the position of organizational resources, such as financial capital, technical experience, skilled employees, and experienced managers. Analysis of the internal environment helps in identifying the strengths and weaknesses of an organization. The fourth one is formulating a strategic plan. Formulating strategies are developed on the basic identification of mission and environmental analysis. Environmental analysis is also called SWOT analysis. Once SWOT analysis is complete, managers need to develop and evaluate strategic alternative and then select strategies that capitalize on the organization's strength and exploit environmental opportunities, or that correct the organization's weakness and safeguard against threats. Strategies must focus on corporate and functional levels. Managers need to develop and evaluate strategic alternative and then choose a strategy that gives the organization competitive advantages. Executing strategic plan. After strategies are formulated, they must be implemented. No matter how effectively an organization has planned its strategies, it can't succeed if the strategies are implemented properly. Select strategies are put into action through plans, policies, tactics, programs, and procedures. Translating strategy into the action phase is the strategy implementation phase. Team building and managing effective teams is an important part of implementing strategy. Top management leadership is a necessary ingredient in a successful strategy. Moreover, a motivated group of middle and lower level managers is needed to carry out the organization's specific strategies. Evaluating results, which is the final step in the strategic management process, we see how effective have the strategies been, what adjustments, if any, are necessary. Such adjustments improve the company's competitiveness. This step helps to assess the results of previous strategies and determines that the changes that are required. Thus, evaluation and control is the process by which corporate activities and performance results are monitored so that actual performance can be compared with the desired performance. Although the evaluation is the final step of the strategic management process, it also can pinpoint weaknesses in previously implemented strategy, and thus we stimulate the entire process to begin again. That's all from me, and now I will pass the floor to Mr. Yuga.
Thank you, Ms. Anis, for your wonderful explanation. Now I'll be answering for discussion question 4, which is, how will SWOT analysis strengthen the strategic management process externally and internally? SWOT analysis is a strategic planning technique that provides assessment tools, and it is a combination of organization external and internal analysis, which include strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that leads to fact-based analysis, fresh perspective, and new ideas. It examines both internal and external elements that may have impact on a company. SWOT analysis works best when diverse groups or voices within an organization are given the freedom to contribute realistic data points rather than prescribed messagings. Okay, now let's look at how SWOT analysis strengthens managerial process internally and externally. Okay, the internal analysis of strengths and weaknesses focuses on an organization's advantages and disadvantages in satisfying the needs of its target market. Strengths refer to core competencies that give the firm an advantage in meeting the needs of its target market. In comparison to assets, its capabilities are its skill and abilities in doing the work and activities needed in its business. After completing an internal analysis, managers should be able to identify organizational strengths and weaknesses. Any activity the organization does well or any unique resources it has are called strengths. Weaknesses are the activities that the organization doesn't do well or resources it needs but doesn't possess. To understand more, let's have a look at SWOT table. For positive internal analysis of strength, organizations should know what is their competitive advantage. It highlights the benefit a customer receives when they do business with the organization. Other than that, organizations should always keep an eye on resources they have and product which is performing well. For example, L'Oreal products such as L'Oreal Paris Collagen Moisture Filler is performing well. So the L'Oreal company have increased their product to create more L'Oreal Paris Collagen Moisture Filler and decrease the production of product which is underperforming. Okay, next, we move on to negative internal analysis of weaknesses. Organization must find out where it can improve, where product is underperforming, and where are they lack in resources. For example, Primark's business model is based on creating huge amount of short-lived, poorly made fast fashion products, and spells nothing but bad news for environment, workers, and animals. To improve its product and overcome lack of resources, Primark ensures all its clothes are made using recycled or more sustainably sourced materials and design its clothes in a way that they can be recycled and strengthen their durability, so that they can last longer and save the environment. And for the positive external analysis of opportunities, organizations need to know what technology they can use to improve operations. Let's take Apple company for example. Apple generally uses technology like LCD and OLED in its devices. This helps to improve the operation and market their product easily. Organizations also need to know whether they can expand their core operations. If can, they need to take initiative to expand their core operation so that the company will keep growing. And if cannot, they need to look for different alternatives, like finding out what's a new market segment that they can explore. For the negative external analysis of threats, organizations should be alert about the new regulation that threaten the operation and change it before it gives a big impact to the company. Next, organization will always see what their competitors doing well and try to do much more better than the competitors, so that the product will have a better performance. Lastly, organizations need to have an eye on customer trends that threaten the business, such as changes in customer spending patterns and behavior of consumers like becoming more price sensitive. This helps to decide whether the company should increase their production or decrease their production to avoid from facing revenue loss. To get a better picture of SWOT analysis, let's consider the example of British organized smoothie company. To better understand how it competes within the smoothie market and what it can do better, it conducted a SWOT analysis. Through this analysis, it identified that its strengths were good sourcing of ingredients, personal customer service, and a strong relationship with suppliers. Peering within its operations, it identified a few areas of weaknesses, such as little product diversifications, high turnover rates, and outdated equipment. So did a great job in examining how the external environment affects its business, identify opportunity in emerging technology, untapped demographic, and a cultural shift toward healthy living. It also helped to discover threats such as a winter freeze damaging crops, a global pandemic, and kinks in the supply chain. In conjunction with the other planning technique, the company used the SWOT analysis to leverage its strengths and external opportunities to eliminate threats and strengthen areas where it is weak. That's all for me. Thank you for listening. And now I would like to pass to Ms. Shah for question number 5.
Thank you for your explanation, Mr. Yuka. Let's move on to the last discussion question, which is question number 5. Organizations that fail to plan are planning to fail. Agree or disagree? Explain your position. First and foremost, we must define plan before we can respond to this question. A plan is a detailed proposal for doing or achieving something, as well as an intention or decision. It is critical not only in management but also in all other aspects of life. Anything undertaken without planning is unlikely to be successful. Nobody or any company succeeds by accident. It is the product of a well-thought-out strategy and execution. Therefore, I agree that organizations that fail to plan are planned to fail. This is because a plan directs what the organization accomplishes, as well as what and why it needs to be accomplished. So the organization understands exactly what they must do. As a result, once they understand what they need to do, they may cooperate with other members of the team to achieve the objectives. When the plan is in place, for example, the employees can readily return to the master plan to remind themselves of what each of them is responsible for. People require a compelling purpose to report to work each day. Thus, planning gives managers and employees clear direction on how they may help the firm achieve its goals. Planning makes it easier to complete our tasks, improving the likelihood of accomplishing the goal while lowering uncertainty and resource consumption. Furthermore, to perform something successfully and efficiently, planning is required. For example, in our subconscious minds, we constantly plan before doing something, but in management, it should be pre-planned. How can we attain our goal if we don't plan first, right? So if a company wants to survive in the industry, it must prepare ahead. Nowadays, the competition is fierce and businesses are constantly challenged against one another. To acquire a competitive advantage, a company must first analyze its position in the industry, as well as its strengths and weaknesses in contrast to those of its competitors. It is also critical to recognize opportunities and seize them by properly planning so that the position can be enhanced. The importance of planning and developing a future strategy cannot be overstated, and if an organization fails to do so, it is asking for trouble. To summarize, the organization will not be able to achieve its expected success and profitability until it understands the procedure required to move from point A to point B. That's all from me. Now I'll pass the floor to Mr. Arvin for the next part, which is a summary of the case study.
A very good day again, everyone. So we are here for case application 1, fast fashion. The topic is Primark takes on Burberry and Alexander McQueen. So today, I and Ms. Divya will be presenting the 10-point summary for this case application. For the first point is, Primark is a clothing retailer company where the headquarters located in Dublin, Ireland, competes directly with designer labels. So what are the designer labels? For example, Primark competes directly with Burberry and Alexander McQueen. Burberry is a famous fashion company and Alexander McQueen is a famous fashion designer. As you guys can see below here, this is the logo of Burberry and Alexander McQueen. Moving on to the second point, Primark operates 287 outlets throughout the world and employs over 54,000 people. For example, Primark has expanded its business to Great Britain, Spain, Netherlands, Portugal, Germany, Belgium, Austria, France, and United States as well. So as you guys can see below here, this is the example of outlets of Primark around the world. For the third point, Primark has done a lot of planning and goal setting by tracking the trends and providing excellent training to its personnel. Primark's planning approach, for example, has made waves in the fashion business. and the company encourages its staff to set their own personal objectives and take use of the training programs available. The picture below shows that Primark following the trends in fashion. Moving on to the fourth point, Primark is one of the most sought after jobs in the retail business because the company has a goal and a framework to help its employees achieve that objective. For example, it has constantly received more employment applications than open vacancies. Primark, like other businesses, has a goal and a structure to support and empower its employees to carry out the objective. Moving on to the fifth summary point, Primark's employees' goal setting is paired with management's acknowledgement of outstanding organizational abilities. For example, Primark's management trainee program is geared for graduates, with a focus on purchasing because the firm receives its items from all over the world. That's all from me. Ms. Divya will explain to you guys the summary points from number 6 to number 10. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arvind. First of all, a very good day to Dr. Kua and everyone. I am Divya Sri Padmanabhan. My metric number is U2104,077. So now, I would like to continue with the next 5 points of the summary. Sixth point, Primark is one of the few outlets that do not depend upon online presence because majority of their fast fashion clothing products begin as low as $4. So the company believes that it does not need an e-commerce site to sell their products. Moving on to the next point, Primark does not believe in promoting itself as well. Alternatively, it depends on strong public relation, word of mouth, and its stores to advertise and promote their products. Point number 8. Besides, Primark's offer fast fashion product at the lowest price. Primark also makes an effort to keep business operation within an ethical framework. For an example, it supports local charitable organizations and community projects as a member of ethical trading initiatives. Apart from all that, Primark also replaced plastic bag with paper carrier bags which are 100% recyclable. Furthermore, in order to accomplish its goals, Primark has strived to enhance labor standards throughout its supply chain in China. Goals included are increasing of wages, delivery productivity benefits, and developing long-term and lasting improvements. Last but not least, Primark's decisions making and planning approach has clearly been working well. As an evidence, 75% of Primark's customer decisions are made in 3 seconds on the factor of sale. That's all from me. Thank you. I will pass the floor to Mr. Darwin. Thank you.
A very good day to Dr. Kua and everyone. My name is Dharmi Anaki Kumar and I am from Group 1. First, I want to thank my group members Arvind and Divya for 10 points summary given. Today, me and my other group member Alif will be presenting discussion questions for the case study from question 1 to 4. So the first question is, discuss Primark's decision to bypass e-commerce. I think whether Primark will pass e-commerce will not be a profitable distribution plan for them. Firstly, Primark's selling price is too low. The cost of delivering products will be in many cases be as expensive as the goods themselves. Secondly, fashion trends are changing every day, which means that clothes can quickly go out of fashion that will create problems with customers returning their online orders some weeks later. Thirdly, Primark can open newer and bigger stores rather than invest in e-commerce, while other companies improve e-commerce. This means that Primark doesn't necessarily need to be in a hurry to open up an e-commerce site, as still has room for growth offline. However, there will become a point when Primark needs to have e-commerce because its consumers need, and they will ask Primark to open online shopping. That's all for question 1, and I pass to group member Alif for the questions 2.
Alright, thank you, Arvin. So, hello everyone. My name is Alif Muhaimin. I will be presenting question number 2. Differentiate Primark's marketing from that of other retailers. So, there's a total of 7 points. So, first, it does not advertise. It relies on public relations, word of mouth, and strategic positioning of key stores. So, first of all, we all need to know that Primark shoppers have a certain mentality. The shopping tactic for Primark is to get in, grab a basket full of low-priced garments, and get out again with as little hassle as possible. Primark has in the past offered the same reasoning for why it doesn't advertise. It relies on strong public relations, word of mouth, and its stores to do the talking. Any big budget marketing campaigns will only serve to aid into the margins and nudge the prices up. So it's a bold move not to jump into online because everyone else is doing it, but to stand firm with a strategy that, while not universal, but it works for the business. So the next point is low price, low budget, and lastly quality and cheap products. So basically, the secret to Primark's success is the balance between fast fashion at the lowest possible price while maintaining an acceptable ethical framework. It's on the knife edge, and if any of those elements changes, the Primark pyramid could come crashing down. The marketing strategy of Primark is to provide people who like to keep up to date with fashion by giving them a chance to buy high fashion at a reduced price. Primark doesn't want to spend high amount of budget for advertising its products, so minimal money will be spent in this department. Thus, they were able to achieve success by offering their customers cheap products without compromising the quality of their products. While every other fashion retailer on the high street is embracing multi-channel operations, be it e-commerce, click and collect, mobile platforms, smartphone apps, or any combination of the above, Primark is one of the only major high street fashion chains that has deliberately steered clear. So that is all for question number 2. Move on to Arvin. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali, for your explanation. Let's move on to question 3, which is provide example of fast fashion chains in your country. How will they cope with competition from an expanding retailer like Primark? In my country, one of the popular fashion chains is Bershka, which part of Inditex fashion retail groups, which is one of the largest in the world company. The clothes of this company are cheap as target the youngest hipsters in the market, while Mango is more luxurious clothes and the price is higher. It is quite hard to compare because the conception of the both fashion retails change in different but the popular among consumers. Bershka's main goal is cheap price and fashionable, and it does not advertise and e-commerce. It's popular in public relations and word mouth, where Mango has e-commerce and advertising with celebrities as well. The difference between both companies is that Mango spends too much money on Bershka. Providing fast fashion retailing is the ability to generate a quick turnover of the merchandise in the stores. New fashion designs are shipped at a rapid rate. There are few basics and reorders are rare. That's all for question 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Darwin, for question number 3. So the last question number 4, which is what types of planning and goal setting are described in this case? How will they help Primark's future operations and expansion? So there's 4 types of planning. First, strategic, long-term, directional, and standing. For strategic, it designed with the entire organization in mind and begin with an organization's mission. For long-term, the top-level managers of Primark design and execute strategic plans to paint a picture of the desired future and long-term goals of the organization. For directional, Primark's top-level managers set a plan that is flexible and set general guidelines. Lastly, for standing, it is an ongoing plan and it provides guidance for activities performed repeatedly. Type of goal setting. According to the case, it uses management by objective conception. It is a process of setting mutually agreed upon goals and using those goals to evaluate employee performance. The mission statement of Primark is to provide luxurious clothes to every citizen of the country at an affordable price. The mission statement is the overall goal of the company that directs their decisions involvement around it. Also, Primark's goal setting by encouraging its employees to set their personal goals and to make use of the training programs that are offered, which is part of management by objective conception. Uh, for me, there's 4 points on this question. It is more systematic, it creates an effective organizational structure, it will continue rapid growth through careful selection of locations in prime states in the right towns. Primark also will attract high quality staff with a range of retailing skills and experience. For me, strategic plan will help organization formulate better strategies through the uses of a more systematic, logical, and rational approach to strategic choice, while MBO, which is management by objective, will help to developing a strategy supportive culture, creating an effective organizational structure, redirecting marketing efforts, developing and utilizing information system. Is to make sure that the organization only follows one direction or path that is towards the achievement of its business mission, objective, and success. So that is all from me. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for watching our presentation. We really hope that you guys enjoyed and understood our presentation. If you guys have any questions, doubt, or maybe if you guys need any further explanation regarding the questions or maybe regarding chapter 6, please feel free to jot down in the comment box below. We are always here to help you guys. We will be glad to hear your feedbacks too. And please don't forget to answer the Kahoot quiz in the Spectral. Thank you and have a nice day, guys.